Sobat Telkom, you are watching Heard on the Street with me, Gina Sara. And we are now embracing and moving forward after facing the pandemic for the last 3 years. The pandemic has affected various sectors, including the telecommunication sector, from the consumer behavior and also its competition. And to discuss more on the topic, including what needs to be done for a telco company to remain competitive, we have with us today Raymond Kosasih, Telco Sector Analyst from Verdana Sekuritas Indonesia. Good morning, Pak Raymond. How are you?
Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very well, thank you.
And thank you for being with us today, Pak Raymond. Pak Raymond, we'd like to jump in right into the topic. But first of all, we'd like to look back on 2022. What is your opinion regarding the telco sector in 2022 itself and its performances? And as we have already entered 2023, in your opinion, what its update and also the outlook for this year?
I look at the 2022 as a better year. It's a turnaround year for the Indonesian telecom sector in general. Yeah, couple things here. First, the competition dynamics have improved significantly. If we look back, say, back to 2007, we used to have 10 operators. You can imagine how difficult the competition is, how intense it is. Yeah. Today, fast forward, in 2021, we used to have 5 operators. And then Indosat and Hutchison merger took place. It was completed at the end of 2021, and then 2022 is the start of the 4-player telecom sectors. Competition remains intense, but it's actually a lot better than prior years. Yeah. I also noticed that 2022 operators have become more rational, yeah, particularly with their pricing. Yeah. That's why Telkom peers have delivered a positive performance so far this year. And I'm also expecting a positive performance from PT Telkom in 2022 and also going forward.
Okay. And regarding the competition itself, Pak Raymond, can you please elaborate more on how the competition is much better in the past 2022 if we look back way beyond 2022 itself?
Yeah. Competitions back in early 2007, or I should say before 2007, it was a 3-player operators. Yeah. Telkom at that time is Satelindo and XL. Yeah. The business model back in 2007 and before, it was like high margin, low volume business. And then the government regulator issued new licenses. So we have 10 operators practically back in 2007. Suddenly the business model changed, where the business model shifted from high margin to low margin businesses and a high volume. Yeah. That means that operators have to spend a lot of capex with the lower margin businesses. Yeah. And this have destroyed value or reduced the value creations in the telecom space. For PT Telkomsel, yeah, if I recall correctly, back in 2017, Telkomsel had booked a record revenue and a record profit, core profit. Since then, revenue have come down for PT Telkomsel, so does for the profit. But I believe 2022 is the start of a turnaround year for PT Telkomsel. They have not yet released the full year results yet, but I'm expecting that the revenue for Telkomsel to improve compared to the prior year, as well as a core profit. This rational pricing behaviors, in our view, is actually makes sense because if you look back 2022, we started to see that the total subscriber base in Indonesia have come down. Yeah. In 2021, total subscriber is around 380, almost 400 million. Last year, we estimate the total subscriber base declining to 350 to 360 million subscribers in Indonesia. Yeah. So practically already almost fully penetrated.
Yes.
Yeah. At the same time, we see that the elasticity. In the past, the game plan is cut prices and you hope to gain market shares, either new customer or the same customer will spend more. Yeah. But we think it's already saturated. There is not much elasticity gain that telecom operators will get from reducing the prices. Yeah. So that's why we think price increase started to take place. Okay. Yeah. And I think this is the start of the turnaround for the telecom sector. And this is very important in my view, because if we want to have a sustainable telecom industry, we need to have rationality from operators.
Okay, of course, we are all hoping for that sustainability. Pak Raymond, we'd like to also know more regarding the related sectors to telco, for example, about the tower and data centers. What about these?
Yeah, if I look at Telkom Group, yeah, you can divide it into two. Yeah. One is an existing businesses, like Telkomsel, for instance. Yeah, this is a steady cash flow. Yeah, however, the growth is actually tapering. Still growing, there's still room to grow, but it's not as fast as in the past. Telkom is venturing into a new growth area. Yeah. Data center is one of them, as well as the tower sectors. Yeah. Being the largest telecom companies in Indonesia, Telkom dominate in the sectors. And in the tower sectors, Telkom Group have Mitratel as a subsidiaries. Mitratel is considered to be the largest tower companies in Indonesia in terms of total tower sites, as well as in terms of the number of customers. But the co-location in the tower sector or in Mitratel is relatively small. And we think with more capex by Telkomsel's peers, more and more will be co-locations at Mitratel sites. Data center is another growth driver in Indonesia. If you take a step back, Indonesia will have probably the fourth, if not third largest internet users, give or take. Yeah. My estimate, the number of internet users in Indonesia is around 200 to 210 million users. Yeah. Practically almost everybody is.
And it continues to rise.
Correct, yeah. But the size of the data center in Indonesia is far from ideal. Yeah. My estimate, the total installed available data center capacities is probably, give or take, 150 to 200 megawatt. Yeah. Compared to some of our neighboring countries, a lot smaller than us, but they have about 500 megawatt installed data center capacity. Yeah. So I think with the growing internet users as well as the growing data traffic, the need for data centers is actually unquestionable.
Okay, Pak Raymond, and because you mentioned about the data center and also how it's a potential growth driver, especially for Telkom. Right now, Telkom is implementing its 5 bold move strategy. Among them, including is also DCCO, or data center business. But we are also implementing the FMC, our fixed mobile convergence, which is between Telkomsel, our mobile business, and also our IndiHome, which is our fixed broadband business. How do you see, or what is your view on these transformations?
Yeah, I'll talk about the FMC first, yeah, fixed to mobile convergence. Telkomsel is clearly the #1 cellular operator in Indonesia. They have about 160 million subscriber base, yeah, give or take. They have not yet released the full year result yet. If you take step back and ask them, of the 160 million users that they have, converted into households, they will have about 50 to 60 million households. Yeah. Compared to the number of households in Indonesia, maybe 60 to 70 million households. Yeah. So Telkomsel clearly is the dominant household telecom operator in Indonesia. Yeah. And then there is this IndiHome. Yeah. IndiHome today is the largest fixed broadband operators with about 9 million connected users or subscribers. Yeah. If you compare 9 million to, say, 60 million, this is less than 20% penetration. Yeah. So we think by converging IndiHome and Telkomsel into one entity, the fixed to mobile convergence that Telkom is currently doing, I think it will be completed hopefully before the end of this year, should actually enhance the penetration rate. Now, we don't need to be 30% of 60 million households of Telkomsel be connected with IndiHome, but from 15, 20 to say 25 to 30%, that will actually increase the overall profitability of PT Telkom. Yeah. Now, most of the upcoming connections that FMC between IndiHome and Telkomsel can generate may come from a lower ARPU customer. Today, the average ARPU for IndiHome is 250, almost 300,000. Yeah. But we think the incremental ARPU could be between 100 to 200,000 rupiah per month. Yeah. That could actually easily double the total revenue of the IndiHome. Yeah, of course, over time. Yeah. So execution is key here. Yeah.
Execution is key. All right, Pak Raymond, since execution is key, we'd like to also ask your views and your thoughts regarding what has Telkom executed in the past, regarding its performances, especially whether it's the past performance, our current, and probably what the future lies ahead for Telkom.
If you look back, Telkom has been the dominant player. Yeah. It's the market leader in every segment that it enters, in the fixed line, cellular. Being a market leader is always difficult. Yeah. There are challenges. Yes. Particularly if you want to maintain the market leadership. I must say that Telkom have done well to maintain that. Not perfect, but I think it's done well. Yeah, there are rooms to improve the performance going forward. Number one, we believe that Telkom needs to continue to maintain the network leaderships. As a result of this, investment is key. So far, given the fact that Telkom Group have superior balance sheet compared to its peers, it allows them to actually make investments. And so we hope that to see Telkom to maintain the investment, not just in the cellular business, but also infrastructure, which is necessary to support the cellular and also other growth drivers like in the data center or in the tower space. Yeah. The other key here is related to human resources, which is, in my view, is also very important to ensure successful executions. Yeah. So I would suggest to Telkom, perhaps, if I may, to continue investing in human capitals. Yeah. That's probably my 2 cents.
All right, Pak Raymond. If we look from the outside picture, in your opinion, what is the greatest challenge for Telkom in the telco sector? And also, what needs to be done for us to remain competitive?
Yeah, I look at the challenge as also an opportunity, Bu. Yeah. Let me take a step back. We think that the macroeconomic in Indonesia is actually, the outlook is superb. Yeah. You know, our president's promoting the downstreaming, mineral downstreaming. We believe that this is actually one way to actually bring up Indonesia from middle income to a higher income nations. Yeah. Today, if you look at the GDP per capita in Indonesia, it's about $4,500 per capita. We believe this mineral downstreaming strategy could bring us GDP per capita to $10,000 per annum, yeah? And help escaping us from the risk of a middle income trap. That means the purchasing power is getting bigger. Yeah. So the challenge, this is an opportunity obviously, but the challenge is how Telkom can capture this rising purchasing power from the large population that Indonesia has. And for that, back to my earlier statement, Telkom needs to spend on capex, needs to spend on investment on human capitals to make the employee ready to capture all this growth. Look at the cellular space.
Yes.
Yeah. Last year, despite the turnaround year, the total cellular spending in Indonesia is only 1% of the GDP. I remember when I started covering the telecom sectors, not long ago, about 20 years ago, the ratio is about 1.7. Yeah. Today, it's in fact actually less than 1%. Yeah. So we think that with the rising income, with rational behaviors among these operators, we can increase the cellular spending to GDP. Yeah. That will obviously improve the value of PT Telkom. Yeah. So that's probably the challenges and the opportunity of Telkom.
The challenges and the opportunity that we as Telkom have to grab.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pak Raymond, for sharing your 2 cents with us on Heard on the Street.
Thank you, Bu Sarah.
Thank you very much. And we also thank you, Sobat Telkom, for watching this video of Heard on the Street. And remember to drop your thoughts in the comment box below. And of course, to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on Telkom. Goodbye dan sampai jumpa.